The keto 3-ingredient cottage cheese chocolate chip recipe has gone viral, and for good reason. It works, but we're going to do a little bit of mechanical work on this baby and make it even better. Welcome to the Keto Baking Mechanic, where we create, tweak, and enhance keto and low-carb breads and baked goods, including authentic keto and low-carb sourdough. Hi, I'm Sherry Mack. You'll always get the recipe link in the description. Be sure to like the recipe. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure that you hit that notification bell so you can be informed when I have other videos coming down the pike. Okay, we're going to tweak this recipe in 2 ways. First of all, we're going to sift the almond flour. Why? Because it's going to lighten the texture of the cookies. And the viral recipe calls for half a cup of your sugar-free chocolate chips. No way, we're doing a whole cup. We're going to put half a cup in the recipe and a half a cup on top of the cookies. Oh my goodness, this makes them so chocolatey. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to start by adding our 4% cottage cheese to your blender, mixer, food processor. I use my little chopper because it works really well. You just want to add that in there. This is literally the easiest recipe to make. And we just want to mix this so it purees and makes it smooth. Okay, now we're going to add our creamed cottage cheese to a bowl. I'm going to get all of that out. Next, we'll add our sweetener. We're just going to give this a mix together. We're going to sift our almond flour into the wet ingredients. You can use a sifter. I like to use a strainer and a spatula. I don't like using the sifter. It's just too hard to keep squeezing it with my fingers. So I just like to sift this into the bowl through a strainer. I think I just said that. Okay. When you hit your 60s, you tend to repeat yourself. At least I do. You can see the flour coming through. It's much finer. Now, you don't have to do this if you buy almond flour already super fine, which I cannot find in my neighborhood. And it's easier for me just to go down the street and pick up my almond flour at a shop. You can also get it through the Amazon links that I provide. Just keep doing this until we get all that flour mixed together. Okay, and lastly, we're going to add our half cup of chips, sugar-free chips. We're saving the other half cup for on top of the cookies. And let's just give it a mix together. We're going to start it with our spatula and continue the dough with our fingers to pull it all together. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling this together with my hands to get it right into a nice ball of dough. holding together. Okay, so let's get this over to the baking sheet. Okay, so there's two ways that you can do this. You can just take a ball, form it, and then just press it down as such, a little bit bigger, whatever you like. Or the way I like to do it is I like to use something that makes them really nice and round. So I just pop it into my cookie cutter, press it down, take some of the chocolate chips, put them on top, press those into the dough, and kind of pop it out the bottom, and you've got a nice, perfectly round cookie. Okay, so just press the dough with the cookie cutter. Press the dough into the cookie cutter, I meant to say. Take a few of your chocolate chips. Of course, I'm messy. Push those into the dough. Kind of punch the cookie through the cookie cutter, just very gently. Do the next one. Pressing it in. Remember, you don't have to do that. You could just press them down. I just love having them like perfectly round. And what you want to get is 18 balls so that you have 18 cookies. These are really one of the healthiest cookies out there. I like to use the white sweetener because it makes the cookies really white. Nice, beautiful white that contrasts with the chocolate chips. If you add brown sweetener rather than a white monk fruit sweetener, for example, the cookies are going to take on more of a brown sugar taste, which is a different type of cookie. And that's okay too. I just like these white ones. And also the white sweetener is less expensive, or cheaper if you want to say. Okay, there you go. Now I used a little bit more than a half a cup on the chocolate chips on top. I had the extras. You don't have to. Sometimes fewer is better depending on your type of taster you are, you know, how much chocolate chips you have and so forth. But this is what they look like just before. And remember, you don't have to use a cookie cutter. You could just roll them in a ball and flatten them. I just love that perfect look. I'm going to pop these in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. You'll know when they start to get golden around the edges. This video is brought to you by Sinless Sourdough, where ancient art meets low-carb science. Hi, I'm Sherry Mack, and I'm the creator of Sinless Sourdough. At Sinless, we create a line of keto, low-carb, dehydrated sourdough starters. When you purchase a starter, you get a starter guide that teaches you how to bring your starter to life, as well as a plethora of keto, low-carb, sourdough discard recipes. I feature those recipes on the channel, and you also get them when you purchase the starter. But the real value is with the Sinless Sourdough membership. With the membership, you learn how to bake 3 different styles of keto and low-carb breads and baked goods that undergo further fermentation. That's why there's video trainings to teach you how to do this. And it's that fermentation of the lactobacillus cultures and the wild yeast in the dough that give the resulting breads and baked goods all the health benefits that science talks about. But you need a membership for that, because baking authentic keto low-carb sourdough with further fermentation is a journey, and you're part of the baking community with lots of free cookbooks. You could ask me as many questions as you like along your journey. You get to share your journey with other people, and you're part of the Sinless Sourdough family. I just spit. Oh my goodness. That's it. Okay, so we've pulled the cookies out of the oven, and you're going to let them sit on the baking tray for a few minutes to cool before you move them to a wire rack. Then you can let them cool for a little bit longer, until they're completely cool. I like to put them in the refrigerator for at least an hour before I indulge. It just firms them up.